Good morning, Phil.
Oh.
Good morning, Philadelphia. Welcome to the first show of our second season at Race on Main. We have Alia Sobel here, and she's going to tell you how to get in touch with her.
Thank you so much for having me. This is great. So, want to level up? Contact me at aliasobel.levelup@gmail.com.
Good morning, Philadelphia, and welcome to another edition of Race on Main Street. This is actually a very special show because it is the first show of our second season, so we're glad to have you with us. So please sit back, get in your favorite chair, and get ready for some great information. Alia Sobel will be here with us shortly, but for all of you who are just joining us, you can check out all of our past episodes at raceonmain.com. So please, any time of the day, you can check us out, see all of those backstories, all of the information that's out there for all of the folks in the metropolitan area. So thank you for joining us. We'll hopefully have a great show with great information for you. But before we get started, as always, I got to introduce, I have a new name for him. Not only my side help, but my stew chef. Like sous chef, stew chef, number 2, behind the scenes. Co-host?
Yeah, no, I understand that. When have I ever cooked for you, though?
I don't know. SpaghettiOs when we were kids.
Yeah, when we were kids, that's true.
Probably.
You do like the spaghetti.
I do, especially the ones with the hot dogs. They're my favorite.
Well, it's good
You
to
know, wait a second. You know why I fell in love with them?
Why?
After I fell off that slide that you dropped me off
always
of,
got to be the slide.
it like kicked in that SpaghettiOs
SpaghettiOs
were
were
for
the
me.
thing?
Yeah.
So apparently, like, brain damaged people like spaghetti.
I guess.
I think it might have been because you bit through your tongue, so it was easy to go down.
And I can't, I don't know if I've even mentioned this part, but the only thing I remember.
You've mentioned every part of this every time you get a chance.
I need to. So it's my therapy. All I remember is running at the baseball fields, and then I think I mentioned this, standing on, and then I don't know how long it took, but then standing on, Dad had me on the kitchen table. I was standing because I was little, and all I can remember is that his handkerchief was in my mouth, keeping the blood from flowing, but all I can think about was it was a handkerchief, and that's disgusting.
All I can think about is the sound. The sound still wakes me up sometimes, but that's we've gone past that.
Yeah.
So I'm not the side help anymore. Well, that's
good.
good. Well, it's a beautiful day out in Philadelphia, so it's just starting to get cold now.
It is. It is. As we just finished Thanksgiving.
Yes.
It is a pretty cold start.
And having finished Thanksgiving, I know that we unfortunately did not get to spend Thanksgiving together because you were with your in-laws, but Betsy made a couple of apple pies, and in terms of the tortured segue,
right?
We were going to talk about the fact that in the economy, the Apple it was the first $1 trillion company, and now after the most recent the second quarter results for 2018, they are no longer a $1 trillion company. So is that a reflection of the economy?
I mean, boo-hoo for Apple, right? It's a fantastic story, though, from a garage with a computer program, computer hardware, to where they are now. It's incredible. But, look, I mean, the economy, like always, has hiccups. There's no question about it. You can't become a $1 trillion a year company if you don't take a few steps forward, a step back, a few steps forward.
Do you think it's fair, though? They're saying that they're going to stop reporting in the same fashion that they've reported before, so we won't know going forward if they're...
this is just my opinion, but I think that this holds weight, is if you're a publicly traded company, you need to report as fairly as you can for consumers to be able to decide whether or not they want to invest with you. It's only fair. There's no reason to do it any other way. I mean, if I'm going to take my money that I earned and invest it in you, I should be allowed to know what I'm investing in. So it should be easy to see what their debt is, what their cash flow is, what the variables
what their market value is,
what their market value is, those kinds of things, and to to muddy it up so it's not clear, I think is more problematic than anything.
Well, wasn't that a function of the sort of the way, and when we started the show about Main Street.
Yeah.
Isn't that a function of the way Wall Street works, though? Is they're trying to say, we didn't meet expectations, and even though we're still as valuable as we ever were, it took the belly out of our value, so we're not going to allow for expectations to be a part of your factor.
But you know what, you're right, and that's probably not the worst thing in the world. Because if you think about that, that's sort of like this guesswork that they're making, like, we think it's this, maybe it's that, those kinds of things. So you're focusing on stuff that's not actual, tangible items like debt or market value or those kinds of things based on really what's going on. So
maybe more what's important.
It might be, but my concern is that they're going to shut the books, they're going to keep it quiet, they're going to do things that.
Do you think that's a reflection? And I know we don't do politics, but do you think that's a reflection of the current administration's business is business and leave us alone kind of attitude?
I mean, look, there's an ebb and flow with politics that relate to business. That happens all the time.
True.
Yeah, I mean that's a part of it. So it's like anything else. There's swings up, there's swings down. It's too big a ship, in my opinion, to fully understand what really are all the details that go on to make it go.
Are you talking about the economy or Apple?
Either.
Okay.
I mean, Apple's probably one of the largest economies in the world. So
yeah, all by itself.
All by itself. Yeah. So as a result of that, I mean, it's a microcosm of the United States' total economy. But there are a lot of countries out there that would think like, wow, I wouldn't mind being Apple.
Oh yeah. So to coin or paraphrase, what's good for Apple is what's good for the U.S. economy?
They've done a good job.
Well, then I guess not reporting is a good thing. We should just all walk around in the dark.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
Look, yeah, I guess. but here's the thing. I think Steve Jobs burned down that first garage. So, you gotta, sometimes it doesn't go the way you expect it to go.
Yeah, well, speaking of not going the way you expect it to go, sometimes you're trying to get it to go the way you expect it to go. And when you do that, it's a good thing to maybe have somebody helping you to figure out where it is you want to go. So our guest today is a woman named Alia Sobel. And Alia Sobel is the founder and chief executive officer, if you will, of a company called Level Up. So we're going to talk about some of the things that Level Up does and some of the things that she does with Level Up. So welcome to the show, Alia Sobel.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you being here.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to be here. So thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really excited to tell everyone about Level Up.
So with that, tell us a little bit, and you had talked about this earlier, that Level Up can be somewhat, you need to know what it is in order to understand what it really means, because
of course.
We get that, Gatorade is a drink, but we need to have you explain to us, what do you mean by Level Up? Tell us a little bit about the company.
No, it's good. So Level Up is actually a coaching and consulting company. What I am so incredibly passionate and I absolutely love doing with people individually. So my clients, we work very closely together individually to level up in life and in business. So there is a lot out there that people have going on in their lives, and they have a vision for things and goals and dreams. And that is exactly what I am here to do. So I am here to partner with people and get everything that they need to do in their life leveled up, truly. So
I'm sorry, you said individuals and businesses. So give me an example of an individual partnering, and then we'll get on to business. So if I'm an individual and I want to partner with you, what might be the reason that I come to you?
Right, so an individual, for example, an entrepreneur. So someone that I work with closely, she is a high-end Philadelphia photographer. And so she was ready to take her business and level up to the next level. And really, we had to do a lot around website development and, marketing and just reaching out and getting out there. And so individually, we have a strategy clarity session, right? So when we start out, we really just hone in and we get laser focused on what our action items are. So working with someone individually, there was so much that can be done to understand and accomplish how you want to level up. I also am really strong about the business in the sense that I love to challenge people to level up. So when and if you're working with me, it's not just you're coming to me saying, this is what my goals are, this is what I want to do, but I'm the person who's truly leveling them up in the sense that, well, we have to do A, B, and C to get to the end result and get your business, or as a person. So really, you could go the route of individually, and you can go the route of leveling up your business. So
you could have in a situation where, like you just described, you have a woman who is a photographer who is leveling up or trying to on the personal side, and then does it work where you're handling it separately for the business, or is the personal side bleeding into the business, or both, both?
Right. So it really is it's a mental and it's a partnership that we work together. So and what's interesting is because every person's situation is different. So someone could come to me and they have their own business and they want to level up, but when we really dig deep, they need to focus nutritionally on what's going on in their life to physically and mentally level up in order to phase into the next level of their growth of their business.
Gotcha.
So really it's, I like to call it mindset interruption. That's something that I'm very passionate about. I like to just dig deep and get working with people on mindset interruption and making sure it's a positive mindset going forward. Because when you level up, you are going to be excited, but there's also going to be challenges in the way. So and I have partnerships with a lot of people, and we all come together and work with these individual clients to level up. So it really is, it's an intimate experience. It's a coaching experience per person. So to answer your question, I feel like I level up with people as individuals, but a lot of people that come my way are entrepreneurs, and they do want to level up individually for themselves in order to pour into their business.
Yeah.
You use the term mindset interruption. Is there a protocol or a technique that you use to help people to interrupt their mindsets?
Wow, that's great question. Yes, actually. So actually, I'm a proprietor of three things, right? So I own this coaching consulting business called Level Up, but then I'm also the creator of a affirmation called the 2-word story. Okay, and that revolves a lot around mindset interruption, and I really coach people on how to use this affirmation, and it could be something that you're applying to your day, your week, your month, your year, your business goals, your personal goals. So the concept behind that is truly we focus on and we get into a coaching situation that we're choosing 2 words that will really drive that person's motivation, focus, and mindset. And that's where the mindset interruption comes into play with the 2-word story. Okay, so
is the 2-word story, is that like something that if you said to me, give me a 2-word story that
oh boy.
No, I'm saying that
I know.
I'm not that creative. I'm not that creative. I don't know that I
okay.
could just come up with that. Do you help? I mean, is that part of the coaching, or do they have to go off and find their 2-word story? And
that's a really great question. So with this 2-word
You
story,
got two
Two
good
good
questions in 2 years.
Yes.
2
Both
for
today.
2.
And I have to circle back because Level Up is a 2-word story that really has fueled myself personally. So that is what tied into me forming the name of my business. So if you really think of Level Up and just use even those 2 words in the front of your head, think of what you can do in a day. Even if it's leveling up, in the grocery store, Think about it. Like, I mean, you're making decisions. What am I going to buy? Well, let me level up and let me buy the right things that I was just nutritionally taught and learned to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, but to get back to what you were saying, I think that really there's going to be a word cloud. So that's in production right now, a word cloud, and then there's an app that's going to be generated, all revolving around this 2-word story. And so people are going to be able to tap into it and use it for, write it in your planner, use it in your yoga studio. There's a lot of different ways that people can level up by just using this powerful 2-word story concept. It's an affirmation, yeah.
Do you find with that, it just interestingly, it just sort of came to my thought, like you come across entrepreneurs.
Yes.
A lot of them have similar mindset. Do you see people coming to you or thinking or their thoughts similar? Are they very different? I mean, everybody's goals are very, very different.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I mean, but you have folks of a similar mindset maybe. Do you see something repeating itself or themes repeating themselves where you need to have folks like, hey, let's look a little deeper or no, maybe this is just perfect for you. How does that all play out with the groups you work with?
Well, that's really good, actually. I do think that, let's say you pick a 2-word story for one day because you have a wild day that you have to accomplish so much, right? I mean, this could go from a CEO of a company that's focusing on this 2-word story for their crazy day, or it could even go down to young adults who are, going through college, going through, school. And I think if you find a 2-word story that really is positively affecting that mindset, and you want to continue to use the same 2 words, by all means. So I'm not sure if that answered your question.
Oh, so wait. So I get to understand this. So your 2-word story is not your 2-word story for the rest of your life. You could have a new 2-word story every day.
Absolutely.
I see.
You could probably have, I'm assuming, like maybe a 2-word story based on various tasks that you may have to do in any given
more than
day.
One a day?
You absolutely can. It can change. So, I mean, for me personally, today, I just loved Own It. That came to mind for me for a lot of reasons in my heart. And then my 2-word story actually kind of shifted today and it's wildfire. And I have my reasonings why I choose my 2-word story. Yesterday it was foster growth. So, and I'm continually getting amazing feedback, and people are sharing their 2-word stories with me and why. Be luminous, stay strong, stand tall. I have a whole word bank that has been being generated around this. So.
That's interesting. So you could actually, that could be a resource in and of itself for people who are looking, they wake up in the morning and maybe they're not sure which way to go, and they could just look through this word bank and come up with something.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's someone that I was, working with, and her 2-word story was keep digging. And this was something, she had read a book that said you're always 3 feet away from gold. So you just, and that was her mindset. She's like, keep digging. And it really, it's amazing to see the transformation and what she was able to achieve with her goal and what she was doing.
You know what's interesting to me about this, or what I find very interesting about it, is that, like, you think about how cloudy the world can be around you.
Right.
I mean, it gets very, very, very fractured and cloudy, and some days your mind's not as clear, maybe because you simply just didn't get enough sleep, whatever it might be, or you didn't eat well, whatever it might be. So now all of a sudden you can pull back to this very, very simple idea. It's just 2 words to try to keep that focus, to get you back on track. It's a spectacular tool.
Yeah.
So you mentioned before you said there's Level Up.
Right.
There's the 2-word story, and then there was a third thing.
Right. So that is an organization that I have been growing and working. It's called WE, but it's women. It stands for WEW. Women Empower Women. And right now, what I am doing is, women as a whole. I feel like I love the empowerment and the community and support that women have for each other, with each other. And there is so much out there. So what I do every week is I will select a woman for her courageous, endeavors, bravery. She's unique. And I'm able to share that in the week. So I share it on social media. I share it with as many people as we're able to, and introduce her out there to the world and say, so for example, this week I am spotlighting an acupuncturist and a Chinese herbalist in the Philadelphia area. And the great thing about it is she's able to, so really it's from a marketing standpoint too. Like I am just spreading the word, and what I want women to do is I want them to be able to see other women's beauty without questioning their own, and then hopefully get inspired by it. So really it's an organization that I'm forming, and it's an elite group of women, and throughout the year, every week, there'll be a different woman that.
What platforms can we look for this on?
So I am featuring this on social media right now. Right. So that is something that has recently been growing and growing and growing, and it's getting bigger, and I'm loving how it is impacting other women in our community. So it's all about bringing support to the tribe,
Yeah, it's great. What's interesting is you talk about the tribe. If you're going to use that, it's a good way to describe it. If the tribe spent a lot of time buying and selling and working
within itself,
absolutely,
it becomes a powerhouse tribe.
Absolutely.
That's for sure.
Right.
So
No,
it's interesting to see.
Definitely, and you can make it bigger scale, I feel like, but it's interesting to see in small communities how much of an impact. And that's something I'm huge on. I just want to impact people. I want to help people find their happiness, live their best life. So this We organization, I do feel like even in a smaller sense, within your community, you can lift women up and share and say, listen, look at acupuncture by Adrienne, and she's absolutely incredible. She is now finishing her doctorate in her schooling, and she's a genius. So I just get really excited about it.
So
Stu's you have a community of women at your house.
Yeah.
Whenever you talk about community,
I have all daughters.
And a wife. So
and I'm sure they're absolutely beautiful and onto great things.
They have some game.
Yeah.
The life coach aspect and the marketing aspect, the marriage of these two things, that is something that's relatively unique to you.
Yes, absolutely.
Compared to other life coaches and other marketing companies.
Absolutely. So that is good that you tuned into that, because that is exactly what I feel as though leveling up is, right? I mean, if you're going to level up in life and business, there is so much. I feel like when people are holistically walking around healthy, physically, mentally, you're able to be more focused, energized, creative. It just allows you to step into a role of truly your best life. And I think, who doesn't need that?
Yeah.
So many of us need that in our lives.
You know what? And think about it even like this for the folks who are out there who are watching and listening and trying to understand this and gain a little bit of perspective on it. Even if you're able to improve yourself some percentage, that's a good step in the right direction. Life is tough, and there's a lot of obstacles in your way. They're on every corner, everywhere you go, everywhere you turn. There is something that can impact you negatively. So the idea of being able to almost like create this fantastic internal shield to be able to help you walk through life better, I'm all for that.
Internal shield. There's a two.
I think that's a good one.
Maybe that's the.
I'll be using that.
The website.
Yeah,
So
internal shield. That's really good.
Big question then is, what gets you out of bed in the morning? What motivates you
that's a good question.
to do the things that you do? How do you get yourself dug in, or what?
Well, I mean, what I've come to learn is a huge, huge, huge part of it is to get up an hour, whether hour and a half earlier than you would expect your day that needed to be started, right? So for me, I do have 2 kids, and they're crazy and they're kooky and active and beautiful and fun. But it is so important to me to be up before everybody and to map out my day, plan my 2-word story. Some other key words that I think are huge that a lot of us, including myself, it took a lot of mindfulness to work towards it, was living each day with purpose, intention, and confidence, right? So I take time in the morning, I get up before everybody else, and honestly, I start my day, I have a special tea that I drink. It's an adaptogen tea that's really, really healthy and good for you. And then I also, I plan. I'm big on planning and strategizing, and that takes an hour, whether it's sending emails, coordinating with clients, what we're doing that day. So I think it's that get up an hour earlier than you normally would, And if it could be a workout. An hour
earlier also, or do you have to? When do you sleep? I mean,
well,
you gotta get that
that's
sleep
the
back,
thing.
right?
That's the thing, right? So yes, you do have to be mindful to when you're going to bed. Absolutely. So, depending on when your day starts, if you start to challenge yourself to get up even a half hour earlier, it can really just completely change the flow of your day.
All right.
So,
Well,
What time do you get up?
Me? I get up at 7. So, Alia Sobel, Level Up,
yes,
the 2-word story,
you got it.
and
We.
Women Empowering Women.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you guys for having me. This was wonderful.
Yeah, no,
So
you're
fun.
welcome.
Yeah.
It was great to have you and
Thank
to talk
you.
with you. And
We're home. We're back home after all this time.
we're back home. Yeah, it's been a little bit of time, a little bit of.
So speaking of the home, I mean, this is apropos of nothing. I saw yesterday that Spain has a world badminton champion, and she's the only apparent badminton player in Spain. So it got me thinking.
You're talking about gray suits now.
It
But
got
go
me.
ahead.
Well,
let
it got
me
me.
see.
Look,
Yeah.
I got to get us out of here
Yeah.
somehow, right? So it got me thinking about home, backyard games, because
Yeah.
we played. I mean, we
Growing
spent
up,
our whole
sure.
lives in the backyard and
wiffle ball.
That was what we played.
Hitting that poor woman's house.
Mrs. Carpenter.
Yes, with the wiffle ball
And
over the tree.
every time.
Yes.
because that was a home run over
Yes,
in right
over
field.
the tree. Right. That's
So
exactly.
tell me, I looked it up. What are the 5 best-selling backyard games today?
Okay.
Not.
I know the number one.
What
You
is
see,
it?
So Stu always tries to, bring in some of these questions to see. I think I know the number one, but I'll get a couple of them. That game, cornhole.
That is number 3.
Okay. Which I find that, I don't know why, like, it's such a dumb name to me. Like, I would think that they're,
Well, for some reasons, yeah.
Yeah, no, for
obvious
we're all
reasons.
grown-ups,
Yeah.
for all the obvious reasons.
Yeah, no.
Terrible name.
That was number 3.
But it's number 3, so maybe they thought about it correctly. I would say.
Although you're with that game,
Yeah.
it's a derivative of the number 1 backyard game.
Horseshoes.
Horseshoes.
Yeah, I knew that.
Pitching horseshoes
yeah,
is
I
the number
figured.
1 backyard.
Yeah.
People pitch horseshoes.
Which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, sure.
So
If you
it's,
I never understood the scoring system, but it's. Do you know that when you play horseshoes though, it's innings. That's what they're called.
Oh,
when
I
you-
done know
yeah,
that.
that's another thing. It's not
All
just
right.
baseball.
we
So
got
horseshoes and
horseshoes
cornhole. So what's
cornhole.
in the middle?
I don't know the name of it, but I'm thinking that possibly there might be like lawn darts.
Lawn darts was number 2. Very good.
Okay, yeah.
So you got the top 3.
I got the top 3, but you said 5, right?
Yeah, but you have to get us out of here because he's waving his finger. There's only 1 minute left.
1 minute left. Okay, all right. Well, I got the top 3. He tries to trip me up. I got the top 3.
got the top 3.
I'm good.
All
So
right, get us out of here.
All right. So again, Alia Sobel, you can check her out. Just look up her name on Instagram, Facebook. You'll be able to come across all of her endeavors, and we want to thank her for being here. Remember, for all of our past episodes, you can go to raceonmain.com. I think there's about 50 episodes with great community information, so please check that out any time of the day. I also want to thank our sponsor, Redline Home Care, for all of their help in this production. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you next week, and thanks again for watching.